Foreboding joy. Do you actually know how terrifying it can be to experience joy? Okay, ladies, I'm back with another episode of the Mom is in Control podcast. You know the drill. Another day, another podcast. I'm your host, Heather Chauvin. Before we jump into today, I just want to remind you, if you are not following me on Instagram, head on over there and check me out at Mom is in Control. If you have a podcast topic, any feedback, an aha moment from one of the podcast episodes, just simply send me a direct message or comment on any of the posts. Yes, I am human. I love to hear your feedback. This is a community, and my goal in 2019 is to help you grow and get out of your own way, whether it's in parenting, relationships, money, career, health. You got this. So vulnerability. 2019, I knew before going into this year, I could feel it. Something big was coming. This is the year that I'll be writing my book. And it was kind of just like everything coming to a head. So the beginning of the year, we're a few days in to January, and it's already kicked my ass. And it's all because of this vulnerability and the intensity of what it is to experience joy. So let me give you a little bit of background. I got into this work and into my message because I was severely, severely depressed to the point where I did not, feel a reason to exist on this earth. And when I had my son, I looked at him and I thought, oh shit, I really need to show up in my life. But I didn't know what that meant. And so that was 14 years ago. And, I've had 2 other children since then. I didn't know what that meant. And so you might hear me say, I think parenting is personal growth on steroids, because what we refuse to look at consciously or subconsciously will come out when we are raising other human beings. Intimate relationships do that in our lives. So now I have this sense of purpose in the world. And this goes beyond my business and beyond parenting. A lot of, at the beginning, the first thing that got me out of bed when I was a young parent was my son, right? I had to get up for him. I had to, of course, take care of him and feed him. And it was really, really hard to get out of bed. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't really know what was dragging me down. And when I continue just, going through the motions and like one bite at a time and asking myself, like, what am I led to? What am I attracted to? Like, what book do I want to read? What class do I want to go to? Like, what kind of people do I want to associate with? And it just, it's like I learned that lesson and then I kept moving, and it's like, okay, now what? Chronically investing in myself. Money, time, and energy. And I invested money in myself when I was on welfare, when I literally had no money, or, cultural perception of having no money, because I believe we all have money. If you're listening to this, you have internet access and a phone, you have money, and you just need to allocate those resources, in accordance to your priority. And if your priority is to feel better, then you'll figure out how to use your resources in alignment with how you want to feel. Or you'll make up excuses and sabotage your joy, right? The vulnerability of joy. So I was chronically investing in myself, whether it was, books or classes, and I would spend more money, more time, more energy on bettering myself than, vacations or clothes or toys or things like that, because I knew I needed to become the best version of myself for my son. And I will be 100% honest. I did a lot of this out of fear. I acted a lot out of fear because I was absolutely terrified that if I didn't figure my shit out, I was going to lose my son, or I was going to let him down. And I couldn't do that. I just could not project my negativity on my son and allow him to carry that, throughout his life. So continue, keep going. It's 14 years ago. And I just, one foot in front of the other, one bite, one day, one moment, one breath, one thought at a time. And it got me to where I am today. Realizing that I have this sense of purpose in the world beyond my job, beyond my role as a mother, this internal, like waking up and just like being excited for life, which is very weird. And some people might ask me, like, how did you get there? That's probably what will be written in my book. But it's a very complex question to ask. It's almost like, you have a tap in the bathroom. Like I'm thinking about, you're standing there, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're washing your face or washing your hands and the water is running, right? The tap is on. And that is like, to me, that's like the universal life force, God, universe, energy, like whatever you want to call it. This is the energy moving through your body. And when you are feeling on purpose, when you are feeling like you have meaning to your life, when you are feeling good, when you are feeling in alignment, when you're feeling happy, I don't really like to use the word happy, positive, you have this water moving through you. When shit is not in alignment and life is not flowing the way you want it to, it's like you've turned the tap off. And that is who I used to be. Like the tap, I literally would turn it on and nothing would come through. It was so incredibly clogged that I'm like, okay, I might have gotten like a drop, but that was it. And so now my life, is not always full force on and like, yay, kitty cats and rainbows, because that does not exist. But I can turn my tap on. And if it's not flowing correctly, I typically know why. And if I do not know why, I'm okay with it because I know that experience is temporary. So I wanted you to have that visual of like flow, right? Water on, things are going good. Water off, things are not going good. But when my water was off, my flow was not there, no joy, no emotion, numbness, depression, anger, anxiety, debilitating fear and worry and guilt and overwhelm. I was not a plumber. I did not know how to turn the tap back on. So I just like busted up my faucet. I'm like, I just did whatever I could to get that flow going. Like I was determined to get the flow going. This is a life skill. This is like a muscle that you need to flex on a daily basis, like determination, perseverance. You need to figure out what your why is. So in that moment, my son was my why. Your dog could be your why. Your neighbor could be your why. Somebody who's passed, deceased, left this earth could be your why. A complete stranger that you met and changed your life could be your why. Something needs to be your why for perseverance. But when you don't have a why, when you can't connect to something deep inside of you, it's really hard to even call the plumber to say, can you help me figure out why my faucet is clogged? So now, today, pursuing my goals, my dreams, my desires, which is not about hustling. You know this already. It's not about hustling and go, and beating a dead horse and, bashing your face against the wall. It's about what is it inside of me that wants to be birthed this year? What is it inside of me that wants to come out? What is it inside of me that wants to be created and cultivated and looked at? And what that is inside of me is this message, this book. Now, this is where the universal ass kicking comes in. Foreboding joy. Joy is the most vulnerable emotion we will experience. And if you cannot tolerate joy, what you do is start dress rehearsing tragedy. Brene Brown. If you do not know who Brene Brown is by now, look her up. Brene, Brene Brown. Go read one of her books. Go read Daring Greatly. I would start there. People say, she has about 5 or 6 books. People say, which book do I start with? I'm overwhelmed. I don't know a book. I'm like, just start. Just start reading the damn book. Daring Greatly. Start there. Joy is the most vulnerable emotion we experience. And if you cannot tolerate joy, what you will do is start dress rehearsing tragedy. Yes. In other words, we run away from our light. We run away from ease. We run away from feeling good. A few days ago or yesterday or whenever this podcast gets put out into the world, I was talking to Amanda Walker and we were talking about food. And another thing that I'm not conquering, but another thing that I'm leaning into this year is food. I'm done with the fad diets, never really into them because I'm overwhelmed and I'm a little bit of a rebel. And I'm like, no, screw you. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot eat. I need to be attached to my body. I need to be like, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. But I'm leaning into like food and what I want to eat and what I don't want to eat and why I want to eat it. And it's mindful eating. It's intuitive eating. It's paying attention. But what I've noticed in myself, and I know I'm not alone, and I always put myself out there as like a work in progress, maybe a few steps ahead of you, but I really just want you to know that you are not alone in the world. When I'm feeling really good and I'm eating clean and I'm moving my body and shit's going good, I crave chips or I want a coffee, and coffee fucks me up sometimes. I can drink, it all depends on my body, but sometimes I'm like, or sugar, right? Sugar is a go-to, but for me, it's chips. And I'm like, why do I want that? Why do I want that right now? Because I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I feel too good. I'm afraid I might make other people uncomfortable, people who aren't on the same journey as me, who might project their judgment onto me. Or maybe I'm afraid of what I'm going to let go of through this journey, the old Heather, right? A part of my identity that has been on me, right? That I'm holding to keep me safe. And the beauty of this is through this process, I've decided to let go of the fact that there's something wrong with me, that I did something bad or wrong. Why can't I figure this shit out? It's our brain, that primitive brain, the way that our brain was designed to keep us safe. So this brain, it's doing its job. It's mothering me hardcore. It's a little bit of a helicopter parent. It's quite annoying. And I just got to tell it, calm down. You got this. You're okay. And so this is why we need to calm down and create space in our life, because we were born to experience joy. But have you ever put your child to sleep and looked at them and thought, oh my God, you were the most precious angel I've ever seen in my entire life? And then the next thought is, oh, what if something bad happens to you? We armor ourselves from experiencing joy. So today I want you to think about, where in your life do you not pursue growth because you're actually have a fear of success, a fear of feeling good, foreboding joy? That's what I got for you. And I'm really, really excited to tell you that it's January 2019, and I've been thinking about Mastery. So Mastery is my signature program. Mastery is like everything, the nuts and bolts of what I teach. You jump into the community, you get access to me, you get access to amazing guest teachers who come into the group. The quality of community and women in there is beyond. You also gain access to my signature program and my 8-step modules, like the process that I bring you through to feel in control in your life, whether that's emotionally, financially, in your parenting, the relationships, it's all connected. So whatever your big why is for coming into this program, it doesn't need to be the same for everybody else. But just seeing women, I've been running this program for a few years now, and seeing women on the other side, there's proven results that this process works. So if you've been listening to me and you've been interested in mastery, we're now accepting applications. So you can head on over to momisincontrol.com and simply just fill out your application. I personally read and respond, but I'm going to tell you something. In a few weeks, I'll have an online information session coming up, and I'll tell you more about that then, like in a few podcast episodes. I don't have the information ready for that yet of when that will be. So if you have like Q&A and you want to check that out before you get on the phone for your intro session. But if you've been interested in working with me and you're like, I'm so done feeling like this in 2019, now is the time to fill out your application. So I'm gifting everybody who joins for this first round of mastery at the beginning of the year a free 1-day in-person mastermind day. So what does this mean? You're going to come to Windsor, Ontario. You can book a hotel, do what you want. I've rented a huge suite, and we're going to have a collaboration of women there, and we're going to do the work. So we're going to do some planning, some New Year planning. So that's about a $1,500 value that's going to be gifted to the people that come into the mastery program at the beginning of 2019. So not offering this as a bonus throughout the whole entire year. I'm telling you, this is a limited time thing. And of course, because it's in person, I'm only going to be able to have so many people there. So if you want to be there, get your booty over to mamasincontrol.com and fill out your application. You don't need to know what you want. You don't need to know if this is a right fit for you. I want you to just trust your gut and take action. And the first step for action is to fill out the application and post all your comments and questions on the application. I personally read and respond, and then I will get you on the phone with somebody on my team for your introductory session. Then if it's a good fit, then you and I will talk. So mamasincontrol.com. Foreboding joy. Where in your life are you armoring yourself from success, from feeling good, and feeling in alignment? Think about it. Talk soon.